In the past 2 weeks, India and Pakistan experienced one of the most intense and modern escalations in their long and troubled history. Unlike past conflicts marked by infantry skirmishes or conventional airstrikes, this confrontation introduced a new era of warfare. Precision drone attacks, AI-assigned targeting, and short-range tactical missile launches. Over the course of just 4 days, the Line of Control, or LOC, transformed into one of the most volatile zones in the world, as both nuclear-armed nations unleashed advanced unmanned systems and precision missiles, raising alarms across the global community. To understand the significance of this recent conflict, one must consider the historical backdrop. Since their partition in 1947, India and Pakistan have fought 4 wars, 3 of which were centered around Kashmir. The LOC, which separates India and Pakistan, is among the most militarized borders on Earth. Continuing on down our historical journey, in 2019, India conducted airstrikes in Balakot following a deadly suicide bombing in Pulwama, prompting retaliatory strikes from Pakistan. That event marked a turning point in South Asian military doctrines. Both nations increased surveillance capabilities, bolstered air defenses, and accelerated the development of indigenous and foreign-source drone technologies. The 2025 drone and missile exchange, therefore, was not an isolated event. It was a manifestation of years of military preparation and simmering tensions. In this next section, we'll discuss a timeline of the 4-day exchange. The recent escalation began when Indian radars detected unidentified aerial objects over the Poonch district. Within 30 minutes, it was confirmed that 3 Pakistani loitering munitions had struck Indian forward bunkers. India retaliated with its own drones, targeting suspected militant infrastructure in Pakistan. As Pakistan reported, 1 Indian drone was shot down using man-portable air defense systems. The second day witnessed further escalation. Pakistan launched short-range missiles at Indian military installations in Rajouri. In response, India deployed BrahMos cruise missiles near Bimber. This exchange resulted in 11 confirmed military fatalities and over 30 injuries. The Indian Ministry of External Affairs denounced the strikes as an unprovoked act of war. By the 3rd day, the conflict had drawn international attention. The United States, China, and Russia urged restraint, while Qatar offered to mediate. India raised its Western Command to high alert. Secret communications were reportedly held between Indian and Pakistani national security advisors, facilitated by neutral intermediaries. Notably, both sides suspended hostilities during Eid prayers, signaling a shared interest in de-escalation. On the 4th day, under mounting diplomatic pressure, both sides agreed to a conditional ceasefire. Bodies of fallen soldiers were exchanged, and India claimed 5 drones had been neutralized. Pakistan cited successful interceptions of 4 missiles. Though the ceasefire held, the situation remained delicate, with both militaries remaining on alert. If this breakdown is blowing your mind more than a swarm of quadcopters, give that subscribe button a gentle tap. We've got more global deep dives incoming, faster than a hypersonic drone. In this next section, we're going to discuss the role of drone warfare. This conflict marked a milestone in South Asian military history, being the first large-scale use of autonomous and semi-autonomous drone systems by both nations. Pakistan utilized loitering munitions, drones that can hover over an area and strike once a target is identified. These drones targeted Indian bunkers and artillery positions. India responded with longer-range combat drones and quadcopters, developed in collaboration with Israel and its own DRDO. AI-assisted targeting and drone swarms were reportedly used by both sides to confuse and overwhelm the other's defense systems. Jamming technologies were also deployed, further demonstrating the growing sophistication of drone warfare in the region. Shifting gears, let's discuss missile exchanges and air defense systems. While drones played a leading role, the conflict also saw the use of short-range ballistic missiles and advanced air defense systems. India relied on its Akash and Barak-A missile defense platforms to intercept incoming threats. Pakistan activated Chinese-built HQ-16 systems, capable of medium-range interceptions. Missiles struck both military and near-civilian targets. Radar saturation tactics were employed to confuse interceptors, and both countries reported mixed results in defending their skies. The missile component of the conflict demonstrated how rapidly such confrontations can escalate beyond localized skirmishes. The decisions to escalate and eventually de-escalate the conflict rested in the hands of political and military leadership. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi chaired emergency defense meetings while Pakistan's civilian leadership, led by Prime Minister Shafiq Khan, coordinated with military chief General Sawar. Despite incendiary rhetoric in public, back-channel communications remained active. Swiss diplomats and Gulf intermediaries played crucial roles in facilitating indirect dialogue. The brief suspension of hostilities during Eid prayers provided a symbolic moment that allowed negotiators the time to broker a ceasefire. Now let's look at some regional and global reactions. The ripple effects of the conflict were felt across the region. China, concerned about its interests in the China-Pakistan economic corridor, urged restraint. The US sent a diplomatic team to both capitals, while Russia proposed a regional arms control framework. Iran, Afghanistan, and Gulf states held emergency regional bloc meetings to assess fallout. International organizations, including the UN, called for restraint. Though no formal resolution was passed by the Security Council, the urgency of the crisis underscored the volatility of the region. The global markets responded swiftly to the confrontation. Gold prices soared to $2,700 per ounce, and oil rose by $5 per barrel. Defense stocks in both countries surged while their national currencies dipped. The economic strain further highlighted the cost of brinksmanship. The specter of nuclear conflict spooked investors and re-emphasized the fragility of South Asian stability in the global economic system. From a civilian and humanitarian perspective, the conflict displaced tens of thousands of people. Over 40,000 civilians were evacuated from the LOC region. Schools were closed, and hospitals in border towns faced a surge in casualties. Relief efforts were mobilized, but the long-term effects of trauma, displacement, and infrastructure damage remain profound. Governments on both sides pledged compensation for the affected, but many families continue to live in temporary shelters. The psychological toll, especially on children, has sparked renewed calls for a permanent diplomatic solution. Leading geopolitics and defense analysts weighed in on the conflict. Dr. Ayesha Siddiqa noted that this was the first AI-enabled military exchange in South Asia. C. Rajamahan described the confrontation as a rehearsal for future warfare. Michael Kugleman of the Wilson Center warned that while diplomacy averted full-scale war this time, the next incident might not be so containable. Their consensus points to a troubling trend: faster, more automated, and potentially harder to control conflicts in the future. In the aftermath of the ceasefire, both countries have doubled down on military readiness. India is fast-tracking deployment of anti-drone grids along the LOC, while Pakistan is exploring enhanced drone acquisition from Turkey and China. Despite the calm, the region remains tense. Parliamentary debates in both countries are focused on increasing defense spending. Think tanks are calling for new confidence-building measures, but political will remains uncertain. What remains clear is that the LOC is no longer just a line, it is a theater for 21st century conflict. And unless robust diplomatic frameworks are established, the next clash may not end in 4 days. The 2025 India-Pakistan drone and missile conflict was a wake-up call for the world. It marked a shift from traditional warfare to tech-driven confrontations. In just 4 days, both nations came dangerously close to war, demonstrating how thin the line between deterrence and disaster has become. As regional and global powers look to the future, one lesson is certain. Modern war may be fought with drones and software, but it still destroys lives and disrupts peace. Stability in South Asia will require more than deterrence. It will demand vision, restraint, and a renewed commitment to dialogue. You've reached the end, but why stop here? Hit that subscribe button like you're launching a diplomatic back channel. We'll be here decoding the next flashpoint before it even makes the headlines. Thanks for your time today, guys. All the best.